Greetings, friends. This Me Too hysteria has been dragging on way too fucking long, so I wanted to devote a video specifically to this topic. And I'm going to respond to an article I saw in the Globe and Mail a few days ago. The title is Group of 300 Hollywood Women Unveil Anti-Harassment Initiative. I'm just going to read a few paragraphs because the rest of the article is all about feelings and emotions. It doesn't have anything interesting at all. And then I'll give my response. So, quote, driven by outrage and resolve to correct a power imbalance that seemed intractable just months ago, 300 prominent actresses and female agents, writers, directors, producers, and entertainment executives have formed an ambitious, sprawling initiative to fight systemic sexual harassment in Hollywood and in blue-collar workplaces nationwide. Blue collar. Sorry. A legal defense fund is included in this initiative, which is backed by $13 million in donations to help less privileged women, like janitors, nurses, and workers at farms, factories, restaurants, and hotels, to protect themselves from sexual misconduct and the fallout from reporting it. Also included in the initiative are legislation to penalize companies that tolerate persistent harassment and to discourage the use of non-disclosure agreements to silence victims, a drive to reach gender parity at studios and talent agencies that has already begun making headway, and a request that women walking the red carpet at the Golden Globes speak out and raise awareness by wearing black. Called Time's Up, the movement was announced Monday with an impassioned pledge of support to working-class women, in an open letter signed by hundreds of women in show business, many of them A-listers. Okay, so that's the selection I've given here. Now, before I give my feedback, I want to share two important insights, courtesy of the YouTuber Independent Man, who's not, I don't even think he likes MGTOW, but, he comments on a lot of the same issues. And he shared another article which distills the two basic problems with the Me Too witch hunt. Firstly, accusations alone kill careers and businesses just through media attention and the absence of any investigation and evidence. Secondly, every claim must be believed, regardless of how ridiculous the claim is, and if you question the claim, you're anti-female. Now, I'll respond to this article. Is Me Too happening because of real harassment? That is the fundamental question, and the answer is no. No. Sometimes women feel uncomfortable around men. It could be the way men look at them or speak to them. Sometimes women just want to get revenge on men for not giving them the jobs they want. Some women do it just because they don't like particular men, and they know their claims will be taken seriously. After all, women don't feel guilt, so it makes no difference to them. Now, ass grabbing and lewd behavior, it does occur, but we have no reason to believe it's a regular occurrence in today's world. Men who grab asses inappropriately could be accused of harassment, but do you really think the average male office employee or even the average male executive can get away with that? The best evidence the feminists have been able to come up with is a few asses grabbed, a few lewd comments, a few attempts to get a kiss. Is this behavior persistent and doubtful? When men do this, do the women sometimes give them what they want? Yes, they often do. Why do you think these men approach women in such overt fashion? Because they've already had plenty of positive results. The world is full of sluts. How do you think many attractive women manage to work their way up in the office world? By whoring themselves, not using their brains. Or if they're not sluts, not all women are sluts, a lot of them are, but if they're not sluts, then they're looking for husbands. They have their eyes set on the boss. Is this kind of behavior systemic of men, doing this sort of overt sexual advances to women? No, absolutely not. In today's gynocentric society, only the top male executives can attempt to grab an ass. And as we've seen, they can't risk that anymore. What about the average male employee? It's laughable to think he can go around grabbing asses and approaching women in an overtly sexual manner. The least that happens to these men is they get fired. If they're not that lucky, they'll be accused of rape. Harvey Weinstein didn't rape anyone. He simply grossed women out. He jerked off in front of them in a private hotel room, which is pretty dumb because that's not much different than jerking off to porn. Why don't you just get some porn? For some reason, or I don't know, go to a strip club. Well, you can't jerk off there, but I don't know. Meet some stripper there. It's weird. What the hell was he thinking? For some reason, the women agreed to meet him in these private circumstances. Why do you think they did that? I'll let you ponder it. Were they forced to meet him there? No. Did they know what to expect? Most likely. But women can never be held responsible for their actions. So this Me Too hysteria is a big nothing burger. No persistent harassment is going on in 99% of these cases. It's a witch hunt. Me Too is simply a frenzied mob on social media which destroys men's careers without due process. Most of these accusations will amount to nothing in court, if they even go to court. It's also funny to see male feminists being taken down by the monster they help feed. But of course, all men have to pay for the actions of these cucks, including many men who won't have the money for legal fees. The most important thing feminists want is money and power, which is usually the same thing as money. But, they want total gender equality in the workplace, or to be more precise, they want total gender parity in the workplaces which they choose, like studios and talent agencies. Do you hear feminists complaining that more women should be garbage workers or construction workers? To be fair, some feminists do advocate for increased numbers of women in the police and military, as dumb an idea as that is. But what they mostly want is more positions for women in comfortable jobs, office jobs, jobs that bring in a high salary without demanding any hard work. And feminists obviously ignore the reality that gender parity in the workplace is unattainable in any real sense. Companies that do attain this gender parity soon go out of business because women are far less productive than men. It's a biological fact. It's measurable. It's observable scientifically. Can you imagine how chatty a workplace with 50% women or more than 50% women would be? And their superiors won't be able to tell them to shut up and get to work. It's insane. The dumbest thing about Me Too is that Hollywood is taking the lead. Hollywood, that liberal bastion of deceit and mind control. Those plastic airhead celebrities attempting to moralize for the entire country. They're the last ones who should be moralizing. How about you stop whoring yourself and sniffing coke? Hollywood has zero grounding in reality. Who even watches Hollywood movies these days? Apparently some people still do. Yesterday my friend asked me if I wanted to go and see the new Star Wars movie, and I laughed at the suggestion. I told them that I'd considered Star Wars a permanently spoiled franchise ever since 1998, when I saw what was then the new installment of the saga. And I was 12 years old then, and I could clearly see that it was fucked. I don't get it. Why would adults these days go to Hollywood movies? I have been, there's still a few exceptions, but they're rare. They're really rare. Most movies leave me feeling dumb and depressed. And what are the Golden Globes anyway? I don't even know what that is. Is that for television? And these Hollywood A-listers are attempting to speak for working class women? I'm sorry. I doubt they give a rat's ass about less privileged women. Feminists need pawns. They need to virtue signal. But there's no sisterhood, never has been, never will be. It's not that these Hollywood actresses aren't really concerned about average women. It's that they look down on them. As for making legislation to penalize companies that tolerate supposedly persistent harassment, who gets to define persistent harassment? How exactly do you succeed with this legislation if you can't define what persistent harassment is? It seems unlikely to work, but who knows? This is a gynocentric society. If it does work, it will destroy companies. Which brings me to the final issue. How will men respond to this hysteria? Firstly, men will increasingly go their own way and avoid women in the workplace. They won't speak to women. We're already seeing men choosing to be chaperoned when meeting with any women. They need witnesses to ensure the women can't make false accusations. But this is problematic too. I mean, it's still not completely safe to be chaperoned. They can still accuse you of anything they want. The only ultimate solution is for companies to stop hiring women, or at least not hiring women into any positions where they'll interact with men. And those aren't too many these days. So this will put an end to women advancing their careers or finding husbands by interacting with men at work. The younger generations of women will be completely shut out. The older generations of women will eventually be despised by these younger women for taking away their privileges. The feminists are calling this movement Time's Up. How about time to shut the fuck up, ladies? Stop crying about imaginary predators. You're the predators. And that's all for now. Hasta luego, amigos.